Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. Written by Grady Hendrix and published by Berkley in January of 2025, with a snippet read by Richard Coombs. Available for checkout right now at the Alice L. Pendleton Library. She didn't think things could get any worse. Then she saw the sign. "Welcome to Florida," it read. The Sunshine State. She knew she shouldn't ask. She knew she stood in a puddle of gasoline, and every word was a lit match falling from her lips. She knew her dad hated her. But the sign made her throat squeeze shut so tight she couldn't breathe, and her bloated stomach pressed on her lungs so hard she couldn't get enough air, and she'd suffocate if she didn't say something. "Dad," she said, "why are we in Florida?" His hands tightened around the steering wheel until it creaked, but he kept his eyes on the road. "Huntsville's the opposite way," she said, trying to stay calm. They'd been driving for hours, and in all the time he hadn't looked at her once. He'd shown up at Aunt Peggy's that morning so angry his hands shook as he snatched her clothes and stuffed them in her suitcase and slammed it shut. One of her bra straps stuck out the side, but she didn't think it was smart to say anything. "It isn't too smart for a girl to be smart," her mom had always said. So she just made herself very, very small. For hours and hours she made herself so incredibly small. But they didn't know anyone in Florida. They didn't have any relatives in Florida. This was kidnapping unless he told her where they were going. He had to tell her where they were going. So she resorted to the one thing she knew could reach him. "I saw the trailer for that Planet of the Apes sequel," she said, because he loved science fiction. "It's about nuclear war. I bet they got the rockets all wrong."
"God damn it, Neva!" he exploded. "Do you understand what you've done? You have ruined your mother's health. God knows what you've done to your brother and sister, and now you've ruined your Aunt Peggy's good name. I don't even know who you are anymore. It'd have been better if you'd never been born."
"Where are you taking me?" she bawled, terrified.
"I'm taking you wherever I want," he bawled back.
"What's happening, Dad?" she asked, and she couldn't help it, she was so scared. "Why are we in Florida?" He shifted from side to side in his seat, adjusted his hands on the wheel, then addressed the windshield like it really needed to understand this was for its own good.
"We found a place for you to stay," he explained to the windshield, "with other girls in your condition. After you're better, I'll come get you, and we can put all this behind us."
"You're sending me to a home?" she asked.
Headlines from confession magazines streaked through her brain. Disgraced debutante left to rot in house of shame. Good girls say no, bad girls go here. They gave away their own flesh and blood. During rehearsals for Arsenic and Old Lace, Margaret Roach had told them about the homes. They were run by nuns who beat the girls, made them work in industrial laundries, and sold their babies, and Margaret Roach was a Catholic, so she would know. The homes were for poor girls, trashy girls, fast girls. They were for sluts.
"Daddy, you can't do this," she begged, because he had to understand. He had to turn the car around. There had to be another way. "Please, please, please, take me home, or to Granny Craven's, or talk to Aunt Peggy again. I promise I'll stay in the bedroom, and I won't make a sound. I'll vacuum and wash dishes. I'll do whatever she says, but you can't take me to a home. They aren't for people like us. They're for Catholics." He turned to face her briefly, and in that moment she saw how much he hated her.
"You've ruined everything," he said, cold and flat. A simple statement of fact. He was right. She had ruined everything. Her mom had always told her she was going to ruin her grades by spending too much time on dramatics. She was going to ruin her eyes by reading in the dark, ruin her reputation by riding in a car with boys, ruin her figure by eating 2 desserts, and every time she did it anyway, and nothing bad ever happened. But now she'd finally done it. Now she'd finally done something so bad nothing would ever be the same again. Now, she'd finally ruined her life. She was being sent to a home.
She wasn't one of those wilting violets who cried at every loud noise, but she couldn't help it. Her body did whatever it wanted these days, and now she leaned her head against the hot window and wept. Big, ugly, racking sobs. Her dad clicked on the radio.